Welcome back to the Alex Auto YouTube channel. All right, and today we're gonna go live. We're gonna talk about the American Dream. All right, and I'm also testing some new software today, so let's see how it goes. So, without any delay, we're gonna get right into the presentation. All right, I have a jam-packed presentation for this live today. Okay, so I want y'all to stick with me, right? Because this is gonna be a lot of info, right? So let's get right into it. So I'm gonna share my screen here. Um, give me a one in the chat if you can see my screen. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen, and then we can get right into the presentation. All right, so we're gonna talk about the American Dream. All right, we're gonna talk about the American Dream. Um, and this is this live specifically. This is gonna be dear to my heart, okay? Because a lot of the information I'm gonna cover here is gonna expose a lot of the things with the system, okay? A lot of the things that we've been taught, a lot of the information that they've told us the path to take, that simply is not true, okay? And unfortunately, a lot of people don't know this, right? A lot of people just follow what they're told, right? And then they realize, 10, 20, 30 years later, right? And for some people, they realize too late that actually this isn't the correct path, okay? Especially when it comes to retirement and financial freedom. And I'm gonna show you exactly the reason why this isn't the correct path, all right? So let's get right into the video. We're gonna cover the good, we're gonna cover the bad, we're gonna cover the ugly, okay? So most importantly, the topics and all the information here is fact checked, okay? I have facts, I have data to back everything up. I'm not just talking. I have real life experience. I've gone through some of this stuff. So I'm here to share this with you guys because if I can save one person, one young man, young woman from going through this path, I think I will feel good. I'll feel good about myself. I'll feel good about the value I'm bringing from this channel. So we're going to touch about what we've been taught versus what we have never been taught, okay? And like I said, this is going to be a lot of information. It's going to be a lot of value, okay? So stick with me. So let's talk about the American Dream, all right? Let's talk about the path that is chosen for most people, okay? This is what like 90% of the population goes through, okay? They say go to college, they say buy a house, work in 9 to 5, and retire at 65. There's a huge problem with this. And the problem with this dream, the problem with this path is that it's actually a lie, okay? And the data I'm gonna show is real-time data to prove that each of this step in this path is just a straight up lie, okay? It's a straight up lie, and I'm smiling because I realized this because I went to college, okay? So I'm gonna talk about some personal experience. I went to college, and I realized about my second year in college, I was like, this is BS, this is bullshit, okay? This isn't gonna work. All right, I just knew it straight away after my second year in college, and I wasn't a bad college student or anything. My first year of college, I was doing great. I had like a 3.8 GPA, something crazy. I was going crazy in college, and then after my second year, I realized very quickly that this path isn't going to work. Okay, so let's talk about going to college. All right, this is number one. I call this the first nightmare. Nightmare number one: going to college. Let's look at the data, okay? Let's look at what has happened for the people that have actually taken this step and gone to college, okay? The average debt for a bachelor's degree over the last 10 years is $34,667, okay? This is the average amount of debt someone with a bachelor's degree has over the last 10 years, okay? This is up 42% from 10 years ago, okay? It's up almost half from 10 years ago. 10 years ago, it was $20,000. All right. And now it's up to 34. The cost of college is only going up. Okay. It's going up every year and it's not going to stop going up. Okay. So I need y'all to realize, and let me move myself out the way here. Give me 1 second. I need y'all to realize, well, that's not what I meant, that this path, this is not it. Okay. So if you're ready for a bunch of debt, all right, you can do this. But here's the thing. That's not even the worst part. Okay, sure. All right, you can get a bachelor's degree, you can take on a bunch of debt, and then you get the job that you want, right? At least that's what you think. You get the job that you want, you start making a good amount of money. Now let's look at the data. 52% of graduates work jobs that don't require a degree 1 year after graduation. Half of the people that go to college and take on that $34,667 in debt don't even get a job in the first year. And people will say, "Oh, it's just the first year." Cool. Let's look at it after that. After 10 years, 45% still don't hold jobs that require degrees. That is absolutely insane. So, almost half of the people who go to college 10 years later don't even get a job that requires a degree. What does this mean? This means that it was a waste of 4 years. It was a waste of almost $35,000. Okay? You're putting yourself into debt to not be in a better position. You're putting yourself, I want you guys to understand this. They're teaching us that the path to take is to put ourselves in debt to not be in a better position. To put ourselves in debt to not get a return on our investment. Okay? The bachelor's degree is pretty much useless. All right? And I'm being black and white about this because I feel strongly about this. Okay? I took this path and I feel 100% strongly about this. That's why I can be black and white. Sure, can you make a lot of money with a bachelor's degree? Sure. But half of the people that are going to college don't. Okay? And people can sit there and say, well, they're majoring in the wrong things. So you're telling me that half or more than half of the people are majoring in the wrong things? That's not true. People are going in and getting good degrees and they're still not getting jobs. They're still not making the money that they think that they're going to make with the college degree. Okay? What you're told when you're coming out of high school is that you need to go to college so that you can get a good job, so that you can make good money. But that's not what's happening in the real world. We see it here. That's not what's happening at all in the real world. Okay? So it's very important that we understand this. Let's keep going. Most people spend $34,000 plus on a degree and they have nothing to show for it. Is this a dream? All right, if you went and spent $30,000 plus and didn't get what you expected to get out of it, and you didn't get right, you were promised. Let's say you go to a business, you go put a down payment on the house, and then you go try and buy the house, and then later they tell you that sorry, that we can't give you the house. That's a nightmare. That's not a dream. That's a nightmare. Okay, so it's very important that we understand this. All right, so smash the like button, right? Smash the like on the video if you guys are enjoying it. I'm gonna keep going. All right, we're getting there. Now let's look at home ownership. Okay, home ownership is probably one of my favorite topics. This is probably one of my favorite because a lot of people, man, think that, oh man, I have equity in this house. I have equity in this house. All right, I'm building equity. All right, it's an asset. Okay, it's not an asset. And let's look at the data. Okay, let's look at the data. Let's look at why this is nightmare number 2. Mortgages are the bank's favorite product. Why? Because mortgages pay the bank the biggest amount of money out of any product that they have. Okay? They can now let's look at the numbers, okay? The average home price $410,000 is actually $513. I'm being very conservative with this number. Just for being conservative sake. Let's say the average home price is $400,000, $410,000. Let's say that you get a $410,000 mortgage with a 4% interest rate. We all know 4% interest rates don't exist in today's market. Okay, you're looking at a minimum of 6%. But like I said, I want to be conservative so that we can see the numbers for ourselves. Okay, after year 1, you pay $16,308 in interest on average on this type of mortgage. 4%, $410,000. Okay, after year 1, your principal is $7,000. You've paid more than double your principal in interest in the first year. Now, the mortgage product is set up that way, right, to front load the interest. It's very similar to auto loans. Okay, they front load the interest because the bank's job is to make as much money as possible. They want to make sure that no matter what, they get their money back. No matter what, they are making sure that they get their money back. Okay, so you bought the home, you're living in the home, you're thinking you're building equity. The first year, you've only paid down $7,000 in principal, and you've given the bank more than double that. And that's year 1. Okay, now total interest and principal paid, right? That's per month is $19.57. So we take this 1957 number and we multiply it by 360. Okay, that's the 30-year mortgage. All right, so that's a total of $704,000, $704,642. Okay, think about that for a second. You think you're buying your house for $410,000, but at the end of the payment with interest, right? I haven't even touched on property taxes. We'll touch on that. We'll get into that. We'll get into that. You've paid $704,000. $704,000. You've paid almost double the price of the house. Okay. Now let's subtract the price of the house to see how much you've paid in interest alone. Okay, and you've paid almost $300,000 in interest. $294,642. Okay, you've paid 42% of the value of your home in interest. I want you to think about that for a second. You've paid 42% of the value of the home in interest. Almost half of the value of the house you've paid in interest. Okay, so it is incredible. And people don't understand this because they think they're building equity. So let's say that in that amount of time, the value of your house has doubled, because everybody talks about equity, right? So let's say your house has gone from 400K to 800K, right? And people be like, oh, I have 400K in equity. No, you don't, because you've paid $704,000 total. That's how much has come out of your pocket. You've only built equity of less than 100K, right? If let's say it's 820,000, so you've paid equity, right? You've built equity of about 116K, let's say. 116K that you've made in 30 years. 30 years to make 116K. Can somebody do the math? How much is that per year? Is that even $10,000 a year? It's not. That's insane. Okay, by the time you've paid off your home, you've made the bank $300,000 in interest. The reason why they push home ownership so hard, right, is because it's the bank's favorite product. You have to remember, right? We live in a capitalist society. The banks are the money makers in the economy, okay? Because they lend out products, right? And interest is a super tax, essentially. Interest is a super tax. And then here's the worst part. Oh yeah, David, I see it. The bank made all that money. Of course they did. And that's not even the worst part, bro. Listen to this. If at any point during this process, during that 30 years, you can't make a payment for 3 months, they keep all your money and they take the house back. They keep all the money and then they take the house back, and then they just do it again with the next person. The bank is winning when it comes to mortgages, not you. The banks are winning, okay? So buying a home, you have to be very, very worried. I'm not saying never own a home, but I'm saying don't think that putting all your money into your house is actually building you equity. All right? Because it's not really. Okay? Now, if you're buying a house to rent it, yes, now you're playing a different game. Now you're on the other side and you're letting somebody else pay off the banks, right? While you essentially would keep the home in the end. That's what you're doing. But we're talking about in terms of home ownership and you living in the house. All right? Let's move on to the next part. The hidden cost of owning a home. A lot of people don't talk about this. All right, let's talk about it. In 2025, the average total of hidden costs of owning and maintaining a home exceeds $21,000. That's per year, by the way. So that's maintenance, that's utilities and energy, that's property taxes, that's insurance and amenities. So we're talking about internet, cable, whatever other amenities is added into the house, right, to make it livable for most people. $20,000 plus. Okay, that's money that's coming out of your pocket. Your house is not an asset if you live in it. It's just not. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. Okay? So I want y'all to understand that the path that has been paving for us is paving in a very specific way, right? To make you a consumer on every level. Let's keep going. Let's talk about the 9 to 5. All right, a lot of people have 9 to 5s, and that's cool, right? I had a 9 to 5, right? Until this year, I had a 9 to 5. And for me, once I realized what was going on with the 9 to 5, I wanted to make sure I put myself on the other side, all right, as a business owner. Okay, so let's talk about the 9 to 5. Salaries. All right, most people work about 34 hours a week. Okay, they work 34 hours a week for 52 weeks, and they make 40, on average, right, the median income in the US in 2024 is $45,000. Okay, so you've worked almost 35 hours a week, and all you have to show for it is 45K in an entire year. Like, I don't understand how you can survive with that. Right now, I was in that position before, and I was struggling as a single man. I was struggling as a single man on that salary. Okay, and most people are doing this with families, with children. Okay, that's insane. All right, so you put in a whole bunch of hours to your employer, and you're just barely surviving. Okay, only 17% of U.S. households make six figures. So don't let this go over your head. Household is everybody that lives in the house, not one person, right? It's everybody that lives in the house. Okay, only 17% of people that live in one whole house. That can be like most households, the average will probably be two people. It would be the husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, right? But they're also families, and they don't even make six figures. Okay, and then here's the worst part. W-2 employees, you guys are paying the highest tax. You guys are getting taxed to oblivion. Okay, the worst part about this is that you don't even see that money. It's taken out before it even gets to you. You don't have a say in where that money goes, right? You don't have a say in whatever is going on with your life, right? And then at the end, a lot of people will get excited because at the end of the year, they get a tax refund and they think that it's free money. It's not free money. It's your money that the government has essentially taken, kept it for an entire year, and they're giving it to you back at the end of the year. Okay? So you need to understand what being in a 9-to-5, where that puts you. Okay? This is where that puts you on average. This is where it will put you. Okay? Boom. Let's go. Let's talk about your retirement plan. What's your plan for retirement? Okay? We all know that, especially for people that work 9-to-5s, the plan that's typically set up for us, right, is 401ks, IRAs, etc. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the retirement killer, inflation. A lot of people, inflation is the biggest hidden wealth killer ever. It's not even close. Okay? It's not even close. And I'm gonna tell you guys something. From what I know, they inflate the currency on purpose, and I'll tell you why. Before I dive into how the inflation has actually looked like in the last 5 years, they inflate the currency on purpose. Why? Because most of the politicians, most of the bankers, most of the wealthiest people in the society, they own all the assets. Okay? So what happens to assets? What happens to assets once inflation hits? The price of assets go up. So if you own a house, right? A lot of people talk about appreciation on the house, right? They think that appreciation means the house is becoming more valuable. No, it's the opposite. Appreciation means the currency is becoming less valuable. So as the currency inflates and becomes less valuable, the price of a house goes up. The house doesn't, 90% of the time, the house doesn't change. That's why today, if you look in the real estate market, you will see some crappy house that's going for $500,000 that 10 years ago was selling for 100K. Okay, why is that? It's because the currency has inflated so much that the value of that house has gone up automatically. Okay, so inflation is a killer. So let's look at some of the inflation numbers. All right, this is real numbers. Okay, the US dollar has lost 25% of its value since 2020. I want you guys to think about that for a second. 25% of its value gone since 2020. All right, that's why we saw gas prices skyrocket the last 2-3 years. That's why we saw home prices skyrocket the last 2-3 years. That's why we saw food prices skyrocket the last 3 years. There was an egg epidemic, or whatever, pandemic, whatever you want to call it. People were fighting over eggs. Do you know how insane that is? People are fighting over eggs. They're inflating the currency. Okay? And how does inflation, what causes inflation? Inflation is caused when the government prints more money. Okay? So, and each time they're passing some dumb bill, an infrastructure bill, a climate change bill, what they're doing is they're printing the currency, and then they print more money. They put more money into circulation, right, in the economy, and then that means that the money that's already in there becomes diluted, so it becomes less valuable, right, because there's more money in it. And now the prices of everything just boom goes up. So every $1 that you had in January of 2020 is only worth 75 cents today. Crazy, right? And here's why this is important when it comes to retirement and your 9 to 5. Okay, most people don't get a raise higher than like 3% a year. Okay, we've just seen the currency inflate 25% over 5 years. That's 5% each year. So even if you get a raise of 3% a year, you're still getting beat by inflation. Right? That's for most people. Now let's look at retirement accounts. Most retirement accounts get like 5% a year. That's like a good retirement account if you're getting 5% of your return on your investment a year. Okay? We just see an inflation inflating 5% a year. So at the very best, you have the same amount of money when you're ready to retire. And then that's not the worst part. The worst part is when you go take out that money, you're still getting taxed. Isn't that insane? So they say put your money here, right? Tax-free. Okay, tax-free, pre-tax, right? And then you pay taxes when you're ready to retirement, when you're in the lowest tax bracket, because on paper, you no longer have a job. All right? Now, when you go and take out that money, you don't have that much money because everything is so much more expensive 30 years later. And then they tax you on top of that. How are you going to retire? How are you going to do it? You can't. It's damn near impossible. Okay? So I'm doing this to show you guys why that path that is chosen is so detrimental. Okay, why it's so chaotic. Why you don't want to take that path. Because at the end of the day, if you follow that path and you get to retirement age 30 years later and you realize that, oh shit, this is not enough, well, it's too late at that point, ladies and gentlemen. It's too late. Okay, you're already wrecked. I don't want you guys to be wrecked. If you're in my community, if you're one of my students, we're not taking this path, okay? I'm going to show you the path we're going to take, and we're going to get there much faster, all right? So this is a quote from Warren Buffett. If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. He said this purposefully. He knows people work 9 to 5s. He knows people have 401ks, IRAs. He said this because he knows that when most people retire, they stop making money. That's where the problem is. Once you retire, once you say, okay, I'm too old to work, and zero income comes in every single month after that, you're screwed. You are. Like, that's a scary place to be. Okay? So you need to figure out a way to make money while you sleep. And that's what I'm going to show you today. All right? So let's get right into it. How to win, okay? How we make money while we sleep, right? You own assets that pay you. You leverage credit. And then you build a scalable income. All right? An income that's not tied to your time. Okay? An income that can take you, right, from 45K a year to 45K a month. It's very possible, ladies and gentlemen. You just got to lock in. So let's lock in. Let's talk about it. All right? Why do we use cars to do this? Okay? Why do I love cars so much? There's multitudes of businesses that you can do, okay, that you can achieve this with. But car rentals is one of the very best. I've tried a lot of businesses, right? I actually have rental properties too, right? I'll just to be transparent with y'all. But the car, there's a reason why I'm here on YouTube teaching cars and not real estate. Nothing beats the car rental game. Nothing. Trust me. Nothing beats the car. This is one of the best businesses I have ever stepped foot in. I have ever tried. In fact, when I started this business, I didn't know what I was doing, and I still made money, right? That's how good it is, okay? So let's talk about it. One, cars are super cheap to acquire, okay? If you want to go buy a rental property, you need to put friggin' at least 10K down, right? And then you got to go take, a $200,000 loan, right? And then, you have insurance, right, on there, right? And then you have to maintain the property, right? That's a few thousand. I just showed you that's $21,000 a year, right? So you have all these huge expenses, and then you put a tenant in there, and then maybe you make $500 a month. That's good. Is that what we want to do? right? You take on all that debt, all that amount of money to make like $500 a month. If you're good at real estate, you make $1,000 a month, right? After you've taken like over $200,000 in debt. But with cars, we can buy cars for $4,000. We can buy cars for. I just bought a car for $3,500, Toyota Camry. You can buy cars for super cheap, okay? And you can turn around and go rent that car for $400 a week. Man, you guys don't understand. Like, this game is unmatched, okay? It's undefeated. Nobody's beating the car rental game. Trust me, nobody. Not crypto, not stocks, none of them. All right, let's keep going. You can make 100% return on your investment in 3 to 4 months. Show me which industry you can do that. Real estate? Nope. Real estate, you'd be happy to make 10% a year. You can make 100% in 3 to 4 months if you do it the correct way. It's very important. All right? You have unlimited demand. I have so much demand, ladies and gentlemen, that I don't think I'll ever have enough cars to satisfy. I can have 50 cars and I'll still have more people that want cars. That's how amazing this car rental business is. Right? Because you have people that need the cars. They need the cars. Like, it's not a want, it's a need. Real estate is also a need, right? And real estate also actually has high demand, but the difference is the cost of acquisition. How do you want to put leverage your capital? Okay, if you have $10,000, what's the best way to use it? That's how you have to think about it, right? And then here's the best part about this business: is recession proof. It doesn't matter what's happening. When COVID happened, when the entire world shut down, they still allow people to drive for Uber. They still allow DoorDashers. They still allow people to do Uber Eats. People were still doing Amazon Flex. What else? You name it. When the worst case scenario happened, that has never happened in the history of mankind, people were still delivering food, delivering packages, dropping people off. And it's actually really important, right? This right here, this recession proof, is extremely important. Because one of the things that I've learned in business, and I've seen other business owners that are in other industries, is you can get wrecked and it won't even be your fault. The government has been shut down since, what, two weeks now? There are people that are in the healthcare industry, right? And they're not going to get paid because the government is shut down, because they rely on government healthcare insurance for their clients. So everybody talks about government money is guaranteed. No, it's not. You have Section 8. If you own properties and you have Section 8 properties, how are you going to get paid? The government shut down. If the government shuts down for the entire month, you're screwed. Let's say you have 15 houses. And they're all Section 8. The government shut down. How are you going to get your money? So this industry is amazing, right? People will always need cars. A lot of people talk about the car automation. Cool. If they start bringing robotic cars that can automatically pick people and drop them off, just buy the robotic cars. You can just buy the cars. Who's gonna stop you? You can just buy the robotic cars, right? Do an independent. You can tear off and make your own car business, right? Where you just buy your own automated vehicles, you put them on the road, and you start making money. But we're a very long way from that. We are. Now, so I've seen it in some states, right? I went to Arizona. They have Waymo, okay, but they still had Uber. We were still using Uber. Do you know why? Because there's so much demand, all right? Let's go back to unlimited. There's so much demand that even if they use automated vehicles, they still wouldn't be able to satisfy it. So that's the slide, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I wanted to present to you today, right? I wanted to break some of the myths that we're taught, the path that we're pushed down, right? I want you to sit back. If you're on that path, actually think about it. Is this something that you want to do? Do you want to go in that direction? Or do you want to build independence, financial independence? Do you want to tear off and make money in a way where nobody can disrupt it? Make money in a way where you don't have a limit to how much money you can make, because you don't have a limit to how many of the assets you can buy. Make money in a way where you can use $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to purchase an asset that can make you $20,000 a year. This is one of the best businesses out there, right? So I wanted to bring y'all attention to this today, right? Start your car rental business today. I'm gonna jump into the comments, so make sure you drop your questions, right? I appreciate y'all for joining the live. Make sure you drop your questions in the comments. I'll answer all the questions in the comments. Just wanted to bring your attention to this today, break some of the myths, right? Make sure that we get in that mindset that the path that most people have been chosen to take, the path that is being pushed upon us, is for a reason, okay? This is an institutionalized country, all right? There's money to be made. It's capitalism. The more people go down that path, the more money the banks make, the more money colleges make, the more money your employers make, okay? And then the more likely you are to get screwed in the end. You don't want to get there and realize it's too late, okay? So if you want to start your car rental business, make sure you join the Facebook community. I will drop the link in the description. I thought I had it before. I had to delete the last live because I was having issues, but I'll drop the link in the description for y'all. The link is also my bio on YouTube. Make sure you jump in there. I think we got like over 70 people across the country now in the Facebook community. Everyone's learning. Everyone's leveling up. Everyone's trying to start their own car rental business. It's trying to scale, right? So make sure you jump in there. And yeah, that's it. That's it for today. I'll go ahead and jump in the comment section. Feel free to drop all your questions, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate y'all for joining the live as usual. But I hope that was fire. I hope you guys got some value out of that, because at the end of the day, I want you to understand that at the end of the day, I took this path, man. It's crazy. I always think about it like, damn, if I had broken it earlier, how much further along would I be? But it's designed like this on purpose, okay? We're designed like this. That way, it's very, very difficult for us to make our own money, to be financially independent. Okay, and the reason why they do this is so that they can make money, as much money off of you as possible. Right? Don't let that happen. Don't let that happen. Let's see. Can you guys see me, or are you guys still seeing my my Canva? Let me know in the comments. Let's see. I'm gonna jump in there now. Give me 1 second. I'm testing this thing today. It's very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Let's see. Cam live. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. All right, cool. I think I'm back. Let me know if you can see me. Yep, I'm back. All right, cool. Cool. All right, cool. I'm gonna jump in the comments in just a second. I see your screen. All right, got you. My guy David, man, David, I haven't seen you in here in a little while. I hope you're good, brother. I hope you're good. Yeah, man, it's crazy. It's crazy how much money the banks are making off of the mortgage product, man. I don't blame them. I'll do the same thing. if I had a cheat code that I can sell to the masses, like a mortgage, right, under the guise of home ownership, and it's a pretty good sell, bro. To be honest, home ownership is a pretty good sell, right? You make people feel like they own something, and really they don't really own it. Like, they don't really own it, because at the end of the day, if you don't pay your mortgage for 3 months, they take the house off of you, right? And even if you pay off your mortgage and you don't pay your property tax, they still take it off of you. So do you really own it? You don't really own it. You don't own anything. So that's the I guess the main purpose of the live today. Yes, sir. I appreciate that. Beezy, welcome, Beezy. 9 to 5 has to be the worst one, bro. You have no. The 9 to 5 is crazy. Like the 9 to 5 hustle. That's a real rat race, bro. I was in corporate. I worked for 3 corporate companies. I worked for DoorDash corporate. I worked for GE Healthcare, and I worked for a training company, online training company called New Horizons. I'm telling you, bro, and it's very different, right? These are all different levels. New Horizons was like a very small company. DoorDash was a massive company, and so was GE Healthcare. And the cultures are like crazy, bro. Like when I was at DoorDash, you can't even eat lunch. Like, I mean, you can, but like you have to eat lunch while you work, because that's what everybody else did. All right, so you don't have any sovereignty, right? You have to follow. So I appreciate the comment. So what do you think the best type of real estate to invest into is? So the best type of real estate is midterm rentals. That's what I do. I don't like long-term rentals. I don't like short-term rentals. Actually very similar to how I do my car rentals. I do like midterm rentals, so anywhere from 3 to 6 months. And I look for travel nurses, right? I love travel nurses. I look for people that have been displaced from their homes. Maybe their home is under construction. Maybe their home is flooded. That's a very common issue, right? And the insurance company is paying for it. Or something of that sort. So something like 3 to 6 months. And this kind of cuts the headache of like bad tenants, right? Having to evict people, because once you have to evict someone out of a house, that's a very different game. You got to take out all their stuff, change the lot. Like that's a very different and a very expensive game. And depending on your state, if you have tenant-friendly state, you're cooked. Like it's gonna take you so long to put them through the legal process of eviction. Like you need like it's hard. So and in Maryland's tenant-friendly. It's a blue state. So I like the midterm rentals. They come in, right? They pay ahead of time. They stay for the period of time. If they want to go for longer, they extend it, right? They usually extend it 1 or 2 months at a time, and then we keep things rolling. So that's what I like. I know everybody's different. Some people like the long-term rentals, cool. But that's what I like. NH, let's see. NH says live from Georgia. Welcome, welcome. I'm gonna be in Georgia actually in a couple of weeks. So I'm going to Atlanta. I'll be out there. It's an amazing state. Q1, what cars and models do you advise I start with? Yeah, so that's a good question. Honda, Toyota, and then Ford Fusion 2.5 liters. That's what I tell people. That's what I tell all my students. Hondas, Toyotas, Ford Fusions 2.5 liters. Okay? Don't go and buy Hyundais, Chrysler. You don't want cars that will give you like regular issues. You want very reliable, very cheap cars that will stay on the road, right? And will not break down, because the more your cars break down, the less money you're gonna make. Very simple. So hopefully that answered your question. We see your screen that says join the community. Oh, it should switch now. I see that it's switched now. Appreciate that. Let's see. Beezy. Do you ever, let me make this. Do you ever have renters who have to pay out of pocket for damage? If so, how do you ensure they pay? How much is your deductible? Yeah, that's a good question. I actually do. Funny enough, I actually do. So I have in my rental agreement that they gotta pay me $1,000 deductible for at-fault accidents. Okay. And how I do it is that I tell them that if it happens, we'll just break up the payment. So I'll do like $100 a week for like 10 weeks. So I'll break it up for them in that way. That way they can pay along with their weekly payment. That's the way I found to be successful, that they don't run away trying to make them pay $1,000 at once. But a lot of times, you know, I have like policies in place, right? And depending on your insurance strategy, my insurance strategy has changed massively, because we have like 15 cars now than when I started. So if you have, I'll say if you have less than like 3 cars, don't do that. What you need to do is like make sure that you have third-party insurance, or you have, you know, personal insurance that you can use to cover like big claims. Anything small, I wouldn't even bother filing a claim. So that's the way we do it. Hopefully that answers your question. I know, because insurance is it's a hot topic, but it's not a one-size-fits-all. So it's always difficult for me to figure out how to answer it. But I have a couple people in my course that we're doing our first weekly call on Wednesday, right? So if you jump in the Facebook community, you can see that and you can join, and then I'll tailor all insurance strategies for each individual, because that's the only way I can do it. Otherwise, it's kind of hard to know your specific situation. So hopefully that answered your question. Let me know in the comments. NH says, Q2, when buying from Facebook Marketplace, what mileage is best to buy? That way I don't run into any issues in the nearest future. I don't care about the mileage. I have cars. The last 3 cars I bought have all been over 200,000 miles. I bought 2 Hondas and a Toyota. So as long as you have good, strong brand, you'll be good on the miles. I wouldn't worry too much about the miles. You want cars that have fully depreciated anyway. And I know a lot of people talk about miles. You don't trust me. It doesn't matter. If you're in the gig economy niche or the Uber Black niche, your clients are going to be driving to 5,000 miles a month. So miles don't matter. As long as the car is reliable, it's well maintained, it will stay on the road and it'll be fine. So hopefully that answered your question. Q3, what is your opinion on Trip City? I've never used Trip City. I know they're new. I would be wary of these platforms, right? And just don't be too reliant on them, because there's gonna be new platforms every year. Like, that's normal, right? I know Trip City is brand new. They came in after HireCar went out, and just be wary, okay? Like, these new platforms, right? Do you know their claims process? I don't know anything about Trip City. Do you know their claims process? Do they actually pay out on claims, right? Are they gonna give you BS excuses when it comes to that? Like, you need to like know how much are they taking off of your rental fees. That's also important. So, I don't care too much about the platforms. I don't use any at all. I run everything on a self-reliant private car rental business, so I don't use any of the platforms. My guy David says, bro, I'm doing good. I saw the notification today. I stopped watching football to participate, broski. I'll be hitting the like button on your videos. Yes, sir. I see you in the comments too. I appreciate it, man. You've been here. I think you've been here. You might have been one of my first subscribers, brother. But yeah, man. Welcome back. Hopefully this video, this live was good. I wanted to do something a bit different, right? I think, I'm trying to put it into more context for people so that they understand, like, I'm not just talking about a business, like a car rental business. Like, I'm talking about building systems, building income that will pay you while you sleep, that will help you retire faster, right? And it's important that you understand like these kind of principles, right? And have something for yourself, even if it's not in the car rental game. If I've taught you that, oh shit, maybe I should find a way to make money on my own. That way I'm not, I can actually get what I want out of life. I've done my job. So hopefully this live was valuable. Dominique says, when are you coming to Atlanta? I'll be there on the 21st through to the 25th. So I'm going to be there from the week of the 21st, that Monday. I have a few things to do in Atlanta, so I'll be there. Yes, sir. And we got like a business conference we got a big business conference for car rental business owners out there. So I'll be out there. NH says, talking about leverage, you're a good teacher, man. I believe your previous job experience as teacher is helping you make an eloquent speaker. Oh, I appreciate that, man. I wasn't a teacher though. So the company, I think you're talking about New Horizons. The company I worked for taught IT classes, but I worked there as a operation. I think it's called sales operations. I worked at sales operations. So I was in sales for 4 years. Sales was my very first job. I was doing it while I was in college. I was selling t-shirts. So I had to learn how to talk during the sales jobs, because I was meeting a lot of people, and I literally built a t-shirt company from nothing, like from $0 to like 50K in a year when I stopped doing it because COVID hit. So I went to college in 2017. I went to Towson University. I was there for 3 years until 2020. When COVID hit, I stopped going to school. Like I stopped completely going to school. But during that 3-year lifespan, I was in sales, like, and I was grinding. Like I was selling t-shirts to fraternities, sororities, to like clubs, things like that. And I was grinding, bro. I had to learn how to. I really learned a lot about sales and people, and marketing during that time. And then from there, I went to work at State Farm where I was selling insurance. And then I did that for like almost a year. And then I went from there to working. I got into tech a little bit for a couple of years. Got into IT operations. I started in sales operations to IT operations. And then when I left GE Healthcare, I was doing IT operations. So yeah, man, I did a little bit of everything. Let's see. Boom. But I appreciate the comment. I appreciate the compliment. Let's see. David said, this live was fire. Yes, sir. I hope you learned something, my guy. I hope you learned something new. NH says, Q4, Trip City takes 5% of your payout. They also have their own insurance charge to the renter. In addition to that, I have ABI on my car. What third-party insurance do I use? Okay, so if Trip City has their own insurance that the renter pays, then I guess if you're on Trip City, you would use Trip City's insurance, similar to Turo. But my question to you is, do you know if how the payout for claims works? That's number one. Find that out if you're gonna stay on Trip City. And then number two, ABI is good. That's a commercial insurance. You don't want to file claims on commercial insurance because they will drop you. They will drop you. So that's number two. Number three, third-party insurance companies. You have Bonza, you have Allianz, and then you have Rental Cover. I did a live on it last week, Sunday, so you can watch the last live. And I went deep into all three. You'll be able to see all the information in that live. So hopefully that answered your question. But let me know for the first two questions I asked you. Have you been through the claims process for Trip City? And maybe that was something for me to learn and everybody else here. And then, yeah, make sure you're not filing any claims with ABI. Dominique says, I am on the 8th car on Turo, making 9 at the end of October. Okay, that's good. I want to start private, hopefully in January. Yeah, bro. If you're already doing 8 cars on Turo, you kill it in the private car rental game. It's gonna be easy for you, bro. Like it's gonna be a cakewalk. Turo is even harder, right? All you need to do is just work out your strategies, and I'll teach you how to work out your strategies. Just make sure you jump in the community, and then boom, you're good to go. You're good to go. NH says, can you meet up? Can we meet up in Atlanta? What conference is this car rental? I just have one car. Bro, it's gonna be very difficult. I have a very packed schedule. I'm going to a conference at there's a guy named my mentor, Pushman Mitch. So I don't know if you've ever heard of Pushman Mitch, but he's hosting a conference in Atlanta. It's if you want to join the conference though, it's not free. You have to hit me up on Facebook, and then I can put you on with Push, and then whatever he charges. I'm in one of his mentees, so I'm in his mentorship. So that's why. But yeah, bro, I don't think I'll have time to meet up while I'm in Atlanta. But hit me up on Facebook. If I do, we can make something happen. Dammy says you might want to consider a topic in automating delegating tasks for folks you hire. Yeah, bro, for sure. I'll do a topic on that. So I'll do a live on that. And I think I'm trying to remember. I've done a couple of videos on that. So I'll do a live on that. Because hiring is very it's very intensive. Like there's a lot that goes into it. So hiring is very intensive. So I'll have to do like a whole live on it. I can't just do a couple of videos because I already did that, and it doesn't seem to be enough. So, but make sure I know you're in the community already, Dammy. Jump in the course too, because you can ask me questions, right? And we can dive into your personal business, and then I can show you like some of the things that you can do if you're in the hiring stage. David says your videos keep telling your story like you did today. It makes you reliable, and people will like your story, follow you, and tap in with you. Today's style on the live was excellent. I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm gonna do more of that. I really like that storytelling, my personal experience, personal realizations, and I have a lot. It took a lot for me to go from where I was to here, and so I can definitely tap into that more. Q5 from NH says, at what point do you advise I go on to my own platform? I hope to add 2 more cars on my portfolio before the end of the year. Is 3 cars enough? 3 cars is more than enough. For me personally, I went on my own on my first car. So I was on Turo for like a month, like literally 30 days. And then I started, because when I bought my first car, I'll be honest. So I'll tell you guys this. This one made me leave Turo. I bought my first car. I learned about the car rental game on YouTube. Come up very similar to what you guys are doing right now, right? I watched a whole lot of videos for like 3 weeks straight. Every single day, I was watching videos on car rentals. And then I went to go buy my first car. About all the videos I was watching were like Turo related. Then I went to go buy my first car, and I put it on Turo, and I made maybe $300-400 profit. And I was like, there's no way I can run a business like this. So I went back on YouTube to figure out a better way. I don't know what I was looking for, but I was just how to make more money with car rental, how to make more money. I was looking at stuff like that. And then I came across the private car rental business. And I went down that rabbit hole. And then that's when everything clicked. So I know I know you can make money on Turo 100%, but you can make more money on private, okay? But there are a lot of things that goes into it. Like, I wouldn't do the private car rental game without a mentor and or a community, because there's a lot that goes into it. You're gonna have a bunch of questions, and I can tell already all the questions that are coming in. These are all questions that I had that I've already answered. Okay, so that's why I always tell people join the community at a very minimum. If you want to jump in the course so that I can give you direct answers on your business situation, you can join the course. Okay, I haven't put the course public yet. It's only for my Facebook community. All right, and there's a reason why. So jump in there, and then you'll find out the reason why it's only for my Facebook community members in about 2 weeks. So make sure you're in there. All right. NH says, Q6, do you have a recommendation for business website developer? Yeah, so anything tech related that you can't do yourself, go on Fiverr. Website called Fiverr or Upwork. Excuse me. You can find freelancers that will do it for very cheap, right? Freelancers in like the Philippines, Kenya, India, that are very good with tech, and they'll do it for very cheap. You can build like a website and landing page and everything, and it'll be very, like, it won't be expensive. And you always want to outsource things that you're not good at. Like for me, I don't do things I'm not good at. If I'm not good at something, I'll pay someone to do it. Like, example, even something very simple, because I see, right, I'm in the business, right, and I talk to other business owners, like in the car rental business, and a lot of them, like, they do their own brakes, they do their own oil change. I don't do none of that. It's not that I can't do it. I'm sure if I try to learn, I can learn how to do it. But is it a good use of my time to learn how to do an oil change and brakes when I can just pay a mechanic to do it and then just focus on building my business, focus on buying more cars, focus on teaching more people and doing what I'm actually good at? Think about it. There's always a cost to your time, okay? So that when you choose to do one thing, you're giving up automatically the other thing. So if you're not good at that, go on Fiverr or Upwork and pay someone that can do it for you for very cheap, right? And they'll be able to do it faster too. That's the best part. How do I join your Facebook? Facebook, blah blah blah, platform or site. Is it just limited to Facebook? No, I have a school community as well. The school community is paid, but the Facebook community is free. So I'll drop the link to the Facebook community. But the Facebook community, right, I'm running a special offer for my school community in the Facebook community. Okay, so, and I'm not going public with my school community until everybody in the Facebook community gets onto that offer, right? And then once we get people in there, then I'll make it public, right? Because I'm gonna double the price, and I want to give my Facebook community members, the advantage, because, they've been rocking with me since the start, and a lot of people in there have been some of my first subscribers. So I feel like, I want to give you guys that, and then once we go public, we're going all in. So hopefully that answered your question, bro. I want to be a mentee, man. I need to leave my 9-to-5 back, bro. Jump in the Facebook community, man. I dropped the link in there for you. I jumped the link in there for you. Brandon, how do I join the Facebook community? Yes, sir. The link is in there. I dropped it in there. It's called Alex Auto Community. If you look up groups on Facebook, you can jump in there. Make sure you're in there. So yeah, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully that was entertaining. Hopefully that was informative. Hopefully that was valuable, right? I want you guys to keep in mind that we live in a capitalistic system. You have to play this game. You don't have a choice. Unfortunately, you're in a capitalist world where you have to play the capitalist game, okay? You have to play it. So if you're gonna have to play this game, because if you don't play the game, it's poverty. That's the alternative. Like, it's really just black and white. It's either you play the game and you make money and live a good life, or you choose poverty. It's your choice. 45K a year with a currency that's inflating 25% every 5 years. By the time 10 years rolls around, prices would have gone up 2x. All right, home prices. I've been tracking home prices for 30 years. Okay, the average price of a home in the 90s, and I have it up here on my board. That's why I'm looking up. Was $150,000. Okay, this is one of the things that made me realize, and I'll tell you guys another story. One of the things that made me realize when I was in college, when I was like trying to figure out what the hell I'm going to do with my life, was I was looking at things like home prices, right? I was looking at the data for jobs, and I came to the conclusion that like the home prices was 150K in 1990. Okay, today the average price of a home is in the 500K. What do you think is going to happen in 30 years from now? What do you think is going to happen 20 years from now? The average price of a home is going to be like $1 million. That's going to be the average. That's going to be the normal. If you are on a salary and you're getting 3% raise a year, in 20 years, it's not going to be anywhere near enough. It's going to be scary, to be honest. Like, that's what it is. Okay? So you need to be able to like perceive what has happened before and where things are going, and then put yourself in the right place where you can benefit from that as opposed to lose. Because those are the only two choices. You either lose or you benefit. And everybody here on this live is on this live because they're trying to find a way to win, right? To put yourself on the right side. That's why I created this YouTube channel. That's why I created this community. Okay? So hopefully, right? And hopefully this was very informative to you guys. I see all the questions have ended. I'm going to go ahead and drop the live and end it. I appreciate your time. All right. Make sure you smash the like button on your way out. I appreciate it. And I'll talk to you in the next one.